Good evening. This is Seth Moore again, coming to you again from Anchor by Spotify. And if they never do the right thing, I'm going to always tell the truth. So here we are again, and you can find us, of course, on Amazon, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Apple Music, and many other sites. Okay, so here we are this evening, and I want to bring something to your attention that I think is very relevant, and I want you to really understand what's going on, because there's a lot of things going on in the world, of course, and we're still talking about Brits. I haven't forgotten, and we're going to continue to move along those lines. But I want to share something with you. And I want you to really pay attention. I want you to understand what is actually going on. I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence, but I'm here to make you aware of what's happening. I was looking at, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail about it, but I'm just going to give you a little bit. And I want you to just kind of like make common sense out of this. I was just looking at earlier this video, and this white guy was talking about he was in Africa not long ago, maybe a year or so ago, and he said, I was so surprised that I went to some of these African countries and how well developed they were. And it was almost condescending and pejorative in more ways than one. Okay. And he said they almost looks like some Western countries. And of course, we all know how Western media portrays Africa, one of riddled economies with war, famine, disease, and so forth, so on. And he was so surprised that he's seen these well-developed countries in Africa with skyscrapers and so forth and so on, and all this. And he made an appeal to some of his Western friends. He said, we need to really be looking at Africa as investing, so I'm going to tell all my friends about how Africa is the place to really go and invest your money, and you're going to get a great return out of your money. And so, and so there was other people who were commenting about what he said. And of course, as I just mentioned, he was being pejorative and he was being real condescending, as if Africa has never been a high society. And it's really the nerve of these Europeans. Sometimes when you hear them speak, and how that they really look at the continent as being a savage place, which has never really have been. And mind you, here is the place that gave life to everyone else. Here is the place that anywhere else in the world, it had high science, high development, thousands of years ago, of course, before the European came. And we all know wherever they come, they create destruction and havoc. We know that, okay? So it's just the sheer gall and nerve of these people. And so now he sees an opportunity to invest into Africa. That's the only thing he sees. He sees a way in which he can extract revenue out of the continent because he wants to do business. And I want to say this. I want to say, Africans, tell them, like we say in the hood, all money is not good money. Keep them out. As many of them as you can keep out of doing business, do it, because they have an agenda. Trust me, they have an agenda. And if you let them get up in there and start putting their money in there, so because think about it this way. They gentrified so many different communities here in America, okay, where they made it hard for indigenous black people to gain a foothold in different areas. And that's not an excuse to say that black people can't do things and get ahead and build businesses. But on a ratio level, we all know it's not as easy for blacks to do that as it is for whites. And so now, this is where we get back to BRICS, because as we know, the US dollar, as I mentioned in many other podcasts, is being de-dollarized. It's getting weaker and weaker by the days. We have all these nations coming together, BRICS, which stands for, what is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now we have Iran coming on board. We have Venezuela coming on board. We have Argentina coming on board. We have, who else? Turkey possibly. And most importantly, we have the Arab nations coming on board, who the United States has had their petrodollars invested in the Arab nations for over 50 years or more? Okay, so now these people see an opportunity because they know that Western society as to their dollar is collapsing. So what do they want to do? They want to go where they want to go. Mind you, they want to go where economies are going to be strong, and all roads lead back to the continent. So this is what they see. And you have many people now who are leaving the U.S. A lot of these Europeans are going to Africa because they know that the West has had its day. It's over here. The dollar's collapsing. Most economists will tell you that. It's a done deal. Okay, and with all of these countries coming together under BRICS, let me tell you something. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. A lot of these European nations are energy depleting, and they need energy bad. Trust me. They need energy bad, and it doesn't look good for them. A lot of them are going to go through a lot of cold winters where they're going to lose a lot of people. Why? Because Russia refuses to give them oil. Okay? A lot of the African nations refuse to do business with them. Okay? And so now they're begging the continent. The same people who exploited and colonized the continent are now begging them for resources. Think about that. And so these Europeans, it's the same old game with a different twist, trying to use new tricks. So you got to please beware of these people. Beware of these people because they're full of damn game. They're not going to change. All they see is profit. That's all they see. They don't love you. They don't love the continent. All they see. And see, they want to be able to go somewhere that's developed, and so they can set a foothold there. And what they'll do, they'll start trying to claim that. Okay? That's what they do. So don't let them do it. Don't let them tell them your money's no good here. Please do that for me. Do that for black folks. Tell them your money is no good here. Your money's no good here. Because what they'll do, if they start investing in a lot of these communities in Ghana and South Africa and all these other places, guess what? It'll be apartheid over again. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Like we say in the hood, all money's not good money. Okay? So what's happening right now is, why is the Harvard Business Law School, well, not law school so much, but Harvard Business School, why are they in Ghana? Now, they're supposedly doing some course studies as far as their degrees and so forth again. But I'll bet you this is what's happening, is that a lot of those people are there. They're there to survey these economies so they can report back to their handlers and their people that, as far as investment goes, as far as economy goes, as far as economics goes, as far as regions goes, and what are the numbers. Okay, because what's going to happen is right now we have a lot of people, we have a lot of resignations that are going on in a lot of the companies. Okay, and a lot of these people are leaving these companies, and they say it for a whole lot of different reasons. Some of them are probably true, but most of them not. Okay, because they see that they don't have a future there. They don't have a future. Now, of course, those who are 60, 70 years old who are in these companies, they're gonna ride it out because they're at their retirement age. So they're gonna ride it out with the company. They've been there 30, 40 years. They don't have nowhere to go. Come on. They're not who's gonna leave a company at 60 years old? That don't even make damn sense. Unless you're gonna all together just, you know, leave and go somewhere else. That's the only way I see that. But most of them are going to ride it out because they're at their retirement age. Okay, but you have the ratio of people who are between 25, 30, 35, and 40. Some of them have 40, 50 years left to work. Okay? And so what's going on is a lot of these people are beginning to put in their resignations. And more than likely, I'm going to read some things to you. But what's happening is that these people are looking at other regions to plant their feet. And guess where those places are? They're in the continent. Okay? So we have to really pay attention to what's going on. Okay? And I'm going to just read some stuff to you. And then we get a sense out of what's going on. But we have to really be cognizant of what's happening. Okay, it says the continent of Africa is often misunderstood, and the opportunity for both impact and profit are underappreciated. The African IFC will highlight the many opportunities and potential challenges for students interested in business on the continent. Students will visit and work with companies in Ghana and gain firsthand experience of business in Africa by meeting and working with other young Africans. We will reflect on a changing international environment marked by COVID, the decline of globalization, and oncoming global recession, and a new Cold War ignited by the Ukrainian crisis. How are these factors affecting Africa? How are countries reacting to these challenges? How are these events impacting companies, and how are companies reaching to their new difficulties? For students, it will provide an opportunity to see and be part of problem solving and crisis management within African corporate settings. Don't believe that bullshit. Okay, don't believe that. They say they're for students, it will provide opportunities to see and be part of problem solving. We don't need you to solve no problems for us or to solve no problems for the continent, and crisis management within the African corporate setting. Okay? Because it's all game. It's all game. You can't trust these people. You can't trust these people. They see the continent as a breadbasket. That's all they see. For their own benefit. That's all they've ever seen, y'all. And now, I'm telling you, Ghanaian, Akufo-Addo, Nana Akufo-Addo, be sure, be careful, my brother. These people are coming to set up shop for themselves. Okay? It's not, and this Harvard Business School is under the guise of the Harvard Business School. That's what I'm saying. Now, people might say, oh man, you crazy, man. They just going in to study. And you can't trust these people. You never could trust them. Okay? So this is another way in which they can plant their foot and get into the fabric of the continent. Other sessions will begin with a look at the major political, economic, and social trends that are dominating the continent. We will, now listen to that. They're going to be sessions that will begin to look at the major political, economic, and social trends. Those are all the areas that they need to know. Political, social, Economic trends. How much money is this country doing? What's their GDP? What's the political climate over here? Where we can get into politics and all of this is game. All of this is game to find out how structures are set up, to find out how structures function. What's the trends in the country? How do they maneuver? How do they do this? So, in other words, when you find all of these things out, you can better identify where you can put in wedges. And not only that, you can better identify how you can get yourself in where you can begin to create openings for other white folks in these areas. Okay, and so if you can get other folks in the political setting, the political climate, in other words, then as a result of that, what happens is you begin to change the climate of the country. Okay, so now if you get a lot of white folks in political positions in a lot of these African countries, then they change the whole framework and how the political landscape is actually set up. You follow what I'm saying? You don't want that. You don't want that. Okay, so here we are. We will then examine the business environment. Let's listen to this. We will then examine the business environment and look at the peculiar features of business on the African continent, as well as the impact of technology, how business is conducted in a continent where infrastructure is often poor, data absent, and capital constraint. Many of the lessons in the IFC are applicable by global emerging markets, especially those in Asia and Latin America. So here it is. You find out what the infrastructure is. Okay? You're looking at how they do business, where their strengths are in technology. And so you want to input your 2 cents in something because you see emerging markets in the continent that are growing exponentially. And so you want to put your 2 cents in so that you can have some sort of level and control. This is all this is about. And once they do that, then it'll be a different day in the continent. And we don't want that. We're not trying to go 100 years back. Okay, we're not. We don't need these people. We don't need these people because guess what? All the ingenuity, all the great minds, mind you, come from the continent. Okay? Okay, let me say this for the record. NASA is what it is because of the African. Most of the inventions that they sent up in orbit have been designed and put together by either Ghanaians or Nigerians. Okay? So don't let nobody fool you. Because behind the scenes, they'll make you think that it's some European doing it, but it's not. It's not at all. Just like they lie about all the inventions that the African actually has done. Okay? They give credit to this lying guy, and I think he is in England somewhere or France, who said he did the first open heart surgery, and I did the research and found out that this guy was a damn farmer. He had nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with other than he was in the room and they gave him some credit for something he never done. Never done. They're liars. You can't trust them. You can't trust them. And I get revved up, y'all, because I'm passionate about this. It's just unreal. William Dale Hale, did the first open heart surgery, if I'm saying his name correctly. Do the research. While in Ghana, And while on campus, students will have the unique opportunity of meeting with and learning from leaders in political and business from across Africa. In Ghana, there will also be opportunity to discover the social and cultural landscape of Africa, including the changing role of women in the society and how the issues of ethnic diversity inclusion are tackled on the continent. And then you got these white women you have in some countries, excuse me, y'all, they running around with African garb on, you know, and dancing and trying. You have no connection to the continent whatsoever. You can't even begin to understand what those black women went through. So give it up. Please stop. Just stop. Just stop. It's stop. It's frustrating. Stop. Don't even do that. Don't dishonor our ancestors that way. Just stop that. Please. You know nothing about the suffering that our ancestors went through and we're still dealing with you people. You know, and all you want to do, you're fucking opportunists. You want to see, you see something that you want, and then immediately you go running towards it. But then you get on the media and say how Africa's a jungle and how Africa is savage. Who's more of a savage? Who is more of a savage than you have been? In 1884, 1885, the Berlin Conference, and how y'all scrambled to carve up the continent, killing millions of people, setting up puppet governments, you know, setting up coups so you could destabilize economies. You've been doing that for hundreds of years. And then all of a sudden somebody's supposed to trust you? Untold atrocities. Cutting off people's limbs. You know, for rubber with King Leopold. Tens of millions of people he slaughtered and murdered. Anyways, good people, good indigenous people. I'm going to be done because I get frustrated, and that's not a good way to go. I want to try to keep my energy right, but you know, stay on a higher vibration. But it just burns you when you see these people. They don't have no real love for the continent, or they don't have no real love for the people. And yet they want to come in and capitalize off of the resources, and because they know that the Western world is on a downward spiral. Look at these European countries. They're on a downward spiral. England is in a mess. France is in a mess. They're burning coal to stay warm. Germany, all of these countries, their day is coming, and it's starting now. It's been started, but it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And so now they're scrambling around for resources, you know, in which it's the continent that has made these countries rich, that has made these white countries resource rich. And without the continent, they already know they will plummet, which is happening now. And they're dependent because they've always been dependent. It was the continent of Africa that built their wealth. It was free labor in this country for 300 plus years that built the wealth of this country and around the globe. So anyways, watch the tricks because they're coming and they haven't stopped and they're not going to stop. You know? And so anyways, we're going to stop here, and I'm going to be coming back again with obviously some more you know, but it's unreal, y'all. It really is. Yeah, but they're looking, and as I said before, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go, and we'll like I said again, we'll come back and we'll do some more on this. But like I said before, I said all roads leads back to the continent. Hello, that's where it started, and that's where it's going to continue. So now you have all of these people. You have all of these people because they know that a lot of these other economies around the globe are not promising. There's a few, there's a few, but the highest growth in economies now are in the continent, and it's going to continue to be that way because that's the way the Creator has it, And so now, again, you have these same people, and let me say this too for the record. A lot of these nations that the U.S. has done so terribly wrong are now becoming a part of BRICS. You thought they forgot? You think that Iran forgot when you created a war with Iraq and you had Iraq go? You provoked Iraq to have a war with Iran. You know how you throw the stone and you hide your hand. That's what America does. And then they sit back and they're so damn hypocritical, try to be innocent. They've created all these wars around the world. So now what you have is all of these nations that remember what America has done. It's saying, okay, buddy, it's your turn. It's your turn. Okay. So again, hey. And they say, well, Mr. Moore, you're in America. Yeah, I'm in America. I am. This is our country. And the Creator's going to protect his people. So it's just unfortunate that the good people have to suffer with the people that created the problem. It's just shameful. It's just, anyways. Until next time, remember to support. Remember to click that button. Give us a shout out. And you can always catch us on Amazon, Apple, Patreon, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. And this one, I'm going to probably be getting off really soon. But until then, you know what? Because they'll suppress information that wants to get to people. Okay? So we'll see you guys soon. So take care. Have a great night. Okay, bye-bye.